Now, as a bass player, you're probably going to want to play with other people, especially in a band. But if you don't do these 5 things, people might not really want to play with you, and you can become a much better musician for it if you learn these 5 things. They're all really basic and can just be picked up mainly in an afternoon. Really, as long as you got the groundwork down, all of this stuff should be able to be fixed in a time of just the space of this video, really, and you can instantly be so much better with playing around other people. The first one is pretty simple, and it's just to be nice and be kind and sort of be respecting with all the musicians you're playing with. Make sure to give them lots of compliments and just generally be happy. And as long as you're not just a sad, grumpy fellow that just hates everyone you're playing with, you will be much more likely to be invited to further gigs or, you know, whatever you're playing in. So if you just be kind, be nice, give compliments to musicians, and generally just be a good, useful, happy, productive presence, then people are going to be much more fond and friendly towards you. Treat people how you want to be treated, really, and if you treat people with the utmost respect, you're going to get a reputation for treating people with the utmost respect, and from that you're going to be a much better musician for it. The next one, I think, just sort of doesn't get enough notice, and it does come with time, and you're going to need to just experience playing with other people to get this down, really. And it's just adjusting your volumes to things that are happening in the music, especially in music like jazz. As a bass player, I've got to adjust my volume all the time to be playing really full bore when there's some really loud solos or the head or whatnot, and then really backing it off when there's perhaps a soloist that is much quieter, or when the music gets quieter and when it gets louder. If you have a concept of dynamics and you're very aware of all the different musicians you're playing with and the different volume levels of all the different instruments you're playing with, you know when to back off and you know when to push a bit more in. People are going to enjoy playing with you so much more. They're like, oh yeah, they really understand and they really bring the best out of my playing as well, because ultimately the other people want to sound good too, and as the bass player, you're making everyone sound good as long as you're doing the right thing, and adjusting the volume levels can make you seem really just a compliment to the music rather than not being loud enough when you need to be louder, and just being too loud at some of the quiet sections and a bit obnoxious. If people think, oh no, that just is so much louder than I want it to be, if there's a solo going on, let's say, and it's a particularly quiet soloist, and you're basically just playing over them because you're so much louder than them, because that's just the volume you're going to play at for the whole tune, that's not what you want to do. You want to be considerate of their volume and think, okay, no, they are a lot quieter, so I'm going to just play a little bit lighter for this bit. And so if you think it's too loud, turn your volume knob down, do all stuff like that if you need to do that, just to be really aware of your surroundings and really just to listen to all the different dynamic levels. Number 3 as well doesn't really get talked about enough, I think, and it's just look what's going on when you're playing with other musicians. Musicians will give you cues, let's say when to solo, when to stop solo, when we're going back to the head or the melody, or just general things like that, or how they're going to end the tune. There's all signs for it, what key we're in, etc. And you know, all depends what style of music you're playing, but people are going to give visual cues into when to solo, when not to solo, when solos need to end, when solos need to start, etc. And when melodies are going on, you've got to keep your eyes out as well as your ears. You've got to be listening for those dynamic levels, of course, and then, you know, from that you've also got to be using your eyeballs and looking around and seeing what everyone else is doing, and especially when you're coming near to the beginning and ends of sections, look at what everyone else is doing, and then you can gauge where you need to go from that. If, you know, something perhaps has gone a little bit wrong and, you know, there's perhaps a discrepancy in the music and something has been either skipped over or there's been an extra bar somewhere, then, you know, you've got to listen out for that, but also look out for it as well, as it could just be you've got lost and you've miscounted, but it also could be something's gone wrong, and, you know, you can always look out. If you do something that's wrong and another musician notices it as well, look at them, and they'll often tell you where you're supposed to be, or you can simply ask someone next to you while you're playing, hey, just where are we? If you use your communication skills and, you know, just go through it and look at what everyone else is doing, often you're going to be much more aware of the music you're playing, and you'll be much better at playing the music. Next up is a pretty simple one, but it's just dress for the occasion. Some musicians might just not come in the appropriate dress for the gig. If it's fancy, put something fancy on. If it's a more casual gig, then go a little bit more casual, but don't basically go out in your pajamas or something stupid like that. Look the part. You want to look good for the other musicians you're playing with, because then ultimately you've got a high standard of yourself, and you know, you look good for all the other musicians. You want to look good, you want to smell good, you want to present yourself in the best way possible for the gig, or whoever you're playing with, you know, what they think of you. If you are always in the appropriate dress wear, and you always come smelling fresh, and you brush your teeth and all the basic sort of hygiene things, then people are going to think again much more highly of you. They're like, yeah, this person thinks highly of themselves, and I think highly of them too, and you know, they're going to support you through it. They're not going to be like, oh yeah, you brushed your teeth, well done, but they're going to just see you at a higher standard. If you're sort of a bit shaggy, a bit rugged, it's not really what other people want, and people might not really want to play with you, because like, no, it just sort of makes everyone else look down, and it sort of pinpoints a sort of negative energy on you, you could say. So dress for the occasion and present yourself in a way that you should be presenting yourself. And the final one, again, pretty simple really, but the amount of people that don't do it: come prepared for what you're playing. You know, if you're playing with people and you're playing music with people, learn that music before. If you have the opportunity to, then learn the music and have a go through the repertoire that you're doing before you get to the rehearsal, before you get to the gig. If you're prepared for the gig, you're going to do a lot better on the gig. You might think, oh no, it's all easy stuff, I don't need to learn for it, or you know, you simply might not have the music. There's still stuff you can do. You can ask people, hey, can I just have the charts early? I just want to have a look through. Or if you've got the music and you just think, oh, it's all too easy, just have a go through them once and see, do I play them through perfectly? Are they all just, yeah, that's all fine? And you know, most of the time it probably will be fine, but you'll get some things where like, okay, no, I'm not quite up to scratch with that one, and I'm going to go through it. If you come prepared with your gig, or just if you come prepared for your gig, you are going to be so much better for everyone else. If you're prepared and you're playing the music that you should be playing, and you're playing everything that you should be playing, and you're prepared and confident in your playing, that's sort of the best thing you can do when you're playing with other people, because it makes people like playing with you so much more, because they always can rely on you, that you're prepared and you're going to play what's needed to be played, and you're not going to just cock it all up essentially. So it is so important to come prepared if you're playing with other people. Again, if you don't have the music, ask them. If you think, oh, it's all too easy and stuff like that, then just get that out of your head and just go through it anyway. You might as well, if you've got the time, and you really should if you're preparing for these things. So do some preparation, do some rehearsal with yourself or with the other musicians if you can, because it will make you play better, you sound better, and you'll be so much more organized and less stress as well. A lot of people struggle with performing, especially when they start. If you come much more prepared than not prepared, and you feel confident in your ability to play the music that you need to play, you often be quite a lot less stressed. But that's all I've got for today's video. The 5 things that I think you should do if you're playing with other musicians, or if you're gigging and doing things like that. If you do these 5 things, people are going to enjoy playing with you, and you're going to get called back for other things. So I hope this has given you an insight. If you're already doing all these things, great. If you need to touch on a few of these things, then please do. But that's it from me. Like and subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. We're going to try and get to 100 subscribers pretty soon, and I'll see you all later. Bye.